With the help of the Pinellas County tax referendum money, the Pinellas County Schools Visual Arts Department has been sending students on field trips for many years. The program has now been expanded. It was decided a few years ago that the district would have an artmobile designed to travel from school to school, giving students an opportunity to view art close up and personal. Now there are 2 of these artmobiles. Here's Julie Levesque.
This particular artmobile that we're looking at today was curated by the Museum of Fine Arts in St. Petersburg. And the theme of this artmobile is how art tells a story. So the Museum of Fine Arts did an amazing job of choosing artwork that really would take the students on a journey. So in the artmobile, they'll see a bigger-than-life Greek amphora. They'll see a magnetic totem pole. There's a picture of a championship boxing match. And all of these things really draw you into thinking about what the story is. We have an artmobile orientation for the teachers because they've never seen it before. So they come out and they watch the video, and I kind of take them around the artmobile and introduce them to some of the paintings and then go through the curriculum guide. So in the curriculum packet, they had those cards. We have scavenger hunt cards that the teachers can share with students. There's a whole background on all the paintings, so teachers can learn about that and feel comfortable with that. So the orientation is just a time for them to go through the curriculum and know what's there, and we also have that curriculum available online so they can go and look at it before the artmobile comes to their school.
Well, you can bring the kids in here and have them look at a painting and maybe make up what's happening in the painting, because maybe they don't know the history of it, and they can come up with their own imaginative story in their head. You can also have them predict maybe what's going to happen next from this picture.
So does anybody know what this is a painting of?
Punching!
They are punching. What do we call that sport? They are fighting. We call that boxing. That's right. How do you think that boxer feels in this painting? How do you think? Sad? Yeah, I think he even maybe fell asleep.
In my classes every year, I have a certain grade level that we'll do the digital pottery. And when we do that digital pottery, I'll show them some Greek vases and we'll talk a little bit about it. And I'll have everybody try to create a shape, one of the specific shapes of one of the vases, and use only Greek decorations. So the fact that they're going to come in and see one, that's a big deal. I think they'll get really excited when they come in.
We show the film as an introduction to the artmobile, and it's always someone taking students through the actual museum space. So it's good for the students to see that, this is not a museum that you're in right now, and that this is what those paintings look like in that real museum space. And it's also a really engaging way to give the students a kind of a foundation of what they're going to look at while they're in the artmobile. We all know now in this day and age that students pay more attention to videos than they do to their teachers. So this is a great way to get them, introduce them and get them fired up and ready to go through that artmobile.
Shh! They hate when I do this. But I've been in that painting for more than 150 years. Who could blame me for wanting to have a little fun? Come on!
Ha! Fooled ya! I wonder what it would be like to be one of these kids. Anyway, this is a school. Does your classroom look like this?
There's a variety of pictures in here. So if one student loves landscapes, that's great. Another student loves sports, there's a boxing picture. So it attracts the attention of a lot of different students.
What kind of sports person would you want to paint if you could paint one?
A baseball.
A baseball player. That would be cool.
They absolutely love it. Just the fact that they can get into a museum. Many of them have never even been to a museum. We spend a whole week, the week before, just going over what is a museum, how do you act in a museum, what do you do in a museum, why do you have a museum? So there's a lot of practicing, we walk around and look at art before we even come in.
Do you think that could be painted in Florida? Has anybody ever seen mountains in Florida? No, we don't have mountains in Florida, so that's painted somewhere else. This is called Cliff Dwellers Country.
We have a couple activities that students can do in the Artmobile. One is a bingo card where they can go around and find objects in the paintings, and when they get a line of those objects they can call bingo. There's also a scavenger hunt, and they can team up with another student or even in groups and go around and try to find things like how many butterflies could you find, how many animals, how many children. And the purpose of this is to get students to really look into the artwork in a way that they wouldn't normally do. And it also gets them talking about the artwork.
With boys, they may not be so excited about painting a flower or a butterfly, but hey, some boxing or some kind of sports thing, I think that's really going to grab them.
You're going to have an opportunity to draw your favorite picture in here.
We do folk art of various kinds in different grade levels. And this particular one is really interesting because a lot of found objects, precious objects, are incorporated into the painting, which is on a door. I think they're going to be really wowed by that. And this replication of the artwork is so perfectly photographed that it really does look 3D. And I think the kids are really, I may have to stand in front of it to keep them from touching it because they're really going to want to grab it.
A lot of times with the younger students who don't have quite the attention span for having conversations about the artwork, we'll give them a piece of paper, we'll have them sit down in front of an artwork and just draw it, redraw your favorite work of art. And this is a way that the old masters back in the day, that's how they learned. They went and studied with their favorite artists and they copied, his artwork. So although we don't display this work, it is a great learning tool. Students can see details that they wouldn't normally have found by just looking at it.
The referendum has boosted all of the interest in art amongst the kids. It gives us lots of opportunities, not just with the traveling museum, but also field trips. I take my children to field trips. In fact, they get so excited about it, the teachers have started to come to me at the beginning of the year and say, okay, well, you did this in 4th grade, what are we going to do in 5th grade now? So I have 3 different grade levels asking for museums which are sponsored by a referendum.